Ever pour your heart into a public health initiative only to see it dismantled after leadership changes? That frustration when years of community work gets shelved after an election? Today in Pact Shapers, we're talking about creating public health change that outlasts political cycles, because your work deserves to be your legacy. Let me tell you a story that still makes my heart sink when I think about it. During the pandemic, our team created this incredible vaccine ambassador training for the community. We designed it from scratch, building a curriculum that empowered community members to have meaningful conversations about vaccines, address hesitancy with empathy, and connect community members with resources. It was beautiful to watch it unfold. Community members who completed the training were making a real impact in neighborhoods where vaccination rates were low. They spoke the languages, understood the cultural context, and had the trust that no health department official could match. Then came a shift. The emergency funding ran out. New leadership came in with different priorities, and despite all of the evidence that showed the effectiveness, the program was abandoned. All that work, all that impact, all that potential was shelved because it wasn't embedded deeply enough to weather the change in political winds. That experience transformed how I approach program development, because creating change isn't enough. We have to create change that lasts. Let's talk about 3 frameworks that help you build public health initiatives that outlast political change, leadership transitions, and funding fluctuations. First, the Institution Independent Foundation. This is about ensuring your work can stand even when institutional support wavers. Think about our Vaccine Ambassador program. What would have made it more resilient if we had built it in true community ownership from the start? Here's what that looks like in practice. Creating governance that includes community members with real decision-making power. Developing multiple funding streams, including non-governmental sources. Establishing documentation systems that preserve institutional memory when staff changes. The second framework is what I call the relationship web, because sustainability isn't just about program design. It's about who's invested in keeping it alive. This means identifying champions across political spectrums, not just allies who already agree. Building relationships at multiple levels, from frontline staff to executive leadership. Creating constituencies with something to lose if the program disappears. One organization that exemplifies this perfectly is the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Did you know that they've survived over 160 years? I worked there early on in my public health career, and I was amazed to learn how their mission has maintained despite world wars, economic depressions, and multiple political shifts. Their secret? They've cultivated champions across the political spectrum. For conservatives, they have emphasized personal responsibility and character development. For progressives, they highlight opportunity creation and social equity. They've built relationships with business leaders, faith communities, politicians, and sports figures. Everyone can see their value through their own lens. When I worked there, I watched how they intentionally maintained these diverse relationships. It wasn't about the politics. It was about ensuring that their vital work with youth would continue despite who was in office. That's the power of intentionally building champions across perspectives instead of staying in comfort zones. The third framework is the evolution strategy. This is about designing your initiatives to adapt rather than break when conditions change. Think about programs as living organisms that need to evolve to survive. This means creating modular approaches where parts can continue even if other elements get cut. Building in flexibility to shift emphasis based on changing priorities. Designing evaluation systems that measure multiple types of impact. Again, the Boys and Girls Clubs show this brilliantly. They began as boys' clubs, focused primarily on keeping boys off the streets. Over decades, they evolved to include girls, expanded their mission to include academic success, and adapted their programs as community needs changed. Their core mission remained, but how they fulfilled it evolved with the times. Now, let's make this concrete with 3 key questions. For whatever program you're currently working on, ask yourself, 1. If you disappeared tomorrow, who would fight to keep this program going? If you can't name at least 5 people from different sectors, that's your first vulnerability. 2. What parts of your work can continue with 50% less funding? If the answer is nothing, you need to create a more adaptable model. 3. How are you documenting impact in ways that would make sense to someone with completely different values? One immediate strategy is the cross-sector champion approach. Identify 3 individuals from completely different sectors. Invite them to experience your work firsthand. Then ask, how would you describe the value of this work to someone with your perspective? Their answers will give you the language you might never have considered, framing that could help your work survive the next transition. Impact Shapers, creating change that lasts isn't just about protecting our work. It's about honoring the communities that we serve. Every time a valuable program disappears, communities experience it as another broken promise. But when we build work that endures, that survives election cycles and budget fluctuations, we rebuild trust. We show that public health can be a consistent force for good, not just a collection of temporary projects. This week, take one initiative you're passionate about and identify its vulnerabilities. Then implement one strategy to strengthen its sustainability. Share what you learn using #PHCLegacy. Remember, Impact Shapers, your legacy isn't measured by what you build. It's measured by what is left standing when you're no longer there to defend it. The most powerful change becomes part of the community fabric, woven so deeply that removing it becomes unthinkable, regardless of who is in charge. Until next time, keep creating change that outlasts you. Your community deserves nothing less.